Hiya, welcome to the latest Woodsmith video. Today we're out of Woodsmith HQ and we're in the woods in the northeast. We're here to drop in on a good friend of ours, Caroline. And if you're a woodworker and you watch TV, you may actually recognise this very talented woodworker. Let's hope she's got the cable. Hi Caroline.
Hello.
Thank you very much for inviting us into your wood today.
Oh, you're very welcome.
It's been something I've wanted to do for quite a long time. You quite regularly say this is your happy place.
Yeah. When I'm here, there's nothing that I have to do. So we're all every day. We're all so busy. We're constantly doing something. We've constantly got jobs to do, things to sort out, things to finish. We've got a task list all the time. And as a mother and as working, I find that I never stop. I never switch off. Even when I'm at home and I stop, I've still got that constant running list of things to do. But when I come here, there's nothing I have to do. I think it's important for everybody to get into nature at some point and regularly if they can. I think even if you don't know the benefits of it, just going and being, you'll feel them. The beauty of it, the sound of it, the feel of it, it really is my happy place, and I didn't realise that until I started coming to the woods, and then I discovered the benefits.
You feel so strongly about that, clearly. You've even introduced others. Was it your work colleagues and friends to events here? It
was groups of other women that I started bringing to the woods. I think that, you know, there's woodland courses and there's outdoor experiences available for everybody, but I feel that that for women it's slightly less available. It's not something that has always been aimed at women more than men. So although it's beneficial to everybody, I decided to bring groups of friends and groups of women who I knew that needed a bit of a switch off to the woods, and the results were incredible.
Yeah.
So the difference in how people felt when they left after a weekend of being here compared to when they arrived, even when they were sure that they weren't an outdoorsy person and they weren't able to manage. When they were here, they developed that ability to manage.
You had some converts.
Yes, absolutely, and they regularly come back. Yeah, and I love that I can share that with other people.
Yeah.
I think it was quite a moving experience for a lot of people, being able to switch off like that and being able to be themselves without any expectations or any responsibilities or concerns. It was just a case of just being here, lighting a fire. So all you have to do is keep warm and eat, stay comfortable, and that's all you have to do. And that's a really therapeutic thing to do.
Yeah. Been woodworking for, I don't know, 10, 20 years, I'm not quite sure, but you've got a particular interest in woodwork, a particular style of woodwork.
Well, I think the love of the woodland came first before the woodwork. I've always enjoyed making things, but I think that the woodwork that I was doing before I had the woods was very much following instructions on how to make something, and I discovered then that I was no good at straight lines. I can't. Yeah. I'm not very good at very precise, following precise instructions. And then when I was here, I realised that the wood that is just around is beautiful in itself. I don't feel that you need to do anything to make a bit of wood look beautiful. It has so many intricate little details in it, but I love that. What I started doing was taking bits of wood that would otherwise just be overlooked as just lying on the forest floor, or would be used as to go on the fire, used as firewood, and I started using those bits. And most woodworkers will stay away from wonky bits of wood and knots and splits and things, whereas I love them. The way that the wood changes and the way that it's grown, that's different to other pieces, I really enjoy. So I source all of my wood from here, So it's all from wind-blown trees. I don't cut anything down unless it has to come down. And I tend to use bits of wood that have been down for years. So from the outside they look like they're rotten, but actually you take off that external rotten wood, and then inside there's some beautiful grain and beautiful patterns, and that's what I really enjoy working with.
And you seem very capable of just letting your imagination run wild, because you, from these rotten, superficially rotten pieces of wood, you just create something very magical. And I think even children and adults would just love your pieces. Tell us something a little bit about the tools that you use.
Because I want to be able to do woodwork here in the woods, and at home sitting in my living room or in my workshop outside, I don't want to use big power tools. And also the type of woodwork that I do, which is more towards a traditional type, requires hand tools rather than big power tools. So my favourite is my axe. It's a small carving axe, and although I think sometimes bigger axes would be helpful for me, I tend to use the small axe for everything, because I can split logs with it, I can carve with it, I can shape wood with it, and I love using it, and it goes in my backpack, and I carry it everywhere. So I'm able to just make something, as I'm sitting here or at home.
But is it possible to have a look at your tools? Have you got?
Absolutely, yes, I've got some with me.
Here at Woodsmith, we just love talking about tools, of course, especially tools that are favourites and ones that are used almost on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Well, my axe, I got this for Mother's Day.
Yep.
And it was not what all the other mothers were getting, but I was so proud of my kids for getting me this.
And what is it, just for people who don't recognise it?
So it's a Gransfors Bruk wildlife hatchet.
Yes.
And it is well used. I have to get it sharpened a lot.
Yes.
I don't, I don't keep them pristine. I wish I did keep.
It's a working tool.
Tools. Yeah.
It's just, it does job.
But as long as it's sharp, I absolutely love it, and it's so light and easy to use. And like I said, I use this for everything from chopping, quite big logs to shaping spoons. That goes in my backpack, and I can take that. I can bring that to the woods easily. And
your draw knife?
My draw knife.
Ray Iles standard draw knife, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, exactly. The Ray Iles draw knife and the Froe is also Ray Iles.
Yep. And Ray Iles is great, isn't he? I mean, he's just knows how to make tools and
absolutely
make them, not at a out of this world price. There's just great tools, which have longevity and they're just going to be your friend forever.
Absolutely, and I love them, and I love that it's I know the maker.
Yes.
I know where it came from. It's not bought from a huge hardware store where I'm not familiar with who's made it. Absolutely. You can actually find out about Ray and learn about them, and that's really nice.
And if things go wrong, we always know who to report back to
exactly.
Get things put right.
Exactly, but these tools go through a lot because I'm not overly careful with them. I also let my children use these, more so this than the axe, but I've found that this is an incredibly nice tool to use.
Satisfying to use.
Very satisfying to use. Everybody loves to use this. And despite it having a large blade, it's surprisingly safe. So I'm never worried about people using it. Although people may be sort of worried about getting into woodworking, thinking that they need huge amount of skill and a lot of different tools, the axe and the draw knife and a hand knife, a carving knife, is pretty much all you need to get started.
And they're very straightforward, simple tools. There's not much can go wrong with them at all. Yeah.
And they're really comfortable to use as well. And they're really special to me.
Do you use a knife? You mentioned a knife.
There are a huge number of knives available, and I keep coming back to this one. So this is a Morakniv, and I actually bought this for my children to use because it's got this safety bit on. Yeah, and I bought a couple of them for the kids to use because they're so easy. But I actually really like the size of them, and they're sturdy and they last and they do exactly what I need. So for fine work I can use a smaller, finer blade. But this, I pop in a holder and put
Yeah.
my belter in my bag, and then I've got it in the woods. And if I, need to put something, I've got that.
Yeah.
Or if I need to spread butter on some bread, I've got that.
Exactly.
If I need to whittle something, I've
Yes.
got that.
Yes.
And I keep coming back to this one. I really like the comfort of it, which is all
It's got flat bevels, so you could cut it if it's nice and sharp. You can do some very fine, intricate carving work, even though it's a basic budget knife, if you like.
Yeah.
It will take a great edge and do some very accurate work for you. Any other tools to show us?
The only other one I have is this hook knife,
Yes.
which is also Morakniv.
Yep.
And it's a right-handed
Yep.
hook knife, and this is just for I use this for hollowing out the bowls of
Yes.
spoons. But it's really nice to use. Again, it's a lovely shape, and it has lasted, and it's been well used. With those two, there's a huge number of things you can create. When it's too cold outside, so it's too cold to be in the woods, or it's too cold to be in my workshop, I can sit indoors, and that's all I need to make something, and I can sit quite happily by the fire creating.
Your mind is somewhere else and create
Absolutely,
something useful.
it's incredibly therapeutic, and
Yes.
again, that's what makes me happy.
Yeah. I've brought a few tools along as well.
Oh yes.
And I've selected a few new tools that we took from the shop, and the tools that I think that you might kind of appreciate and potentially use in the woods. It's another Gransfors Bruk,
Oh, nice.
and it is the large carving axe, the double-sided variant of this. It also comes with a right or a left grind. This is double-sided, so this is probably the most useful of all the carving axes from Gransfors. Especially, it's nicely balanced as well, so it won't feel as onerous because of the balance. Most of the time you're holding it exactly where you had your hand there, just behind the head, and that's a nice balanced place, and it's just going to work so efficiently for you.
Yes, yeah. Well, I could get things done a lot quicker with this
indeed. Yes.
that I had been using the smaller axe for, but that's really lovely.
Yeah. This is the Silky Bigboy, so it's a folding saw naturally, and it's got this one happens to have a 360 blade on it, and it's got super big teeth. So this will be just perfect for those larger logs that you've got lying around. The rule of thumb is sawing something that's half the diameter of the blade. So with something like this, you could very easily cut something that's about 6 inches diameter, and it'll just whiz through.
That's so nice.
Super strong, super tough. It's a professional saw. It is one of those durable saws that will just last for a very long time. Not sharpenable, unfortunately, but you can replace the blades.
Right, okay.
So when it does eventually become blunt, you don't have to replace the whole saw.
I imagine that's not going to blunt very easily, though.
No,
they last quite a
should,
while?
well, the teeth are hardened, so it should last, I think it's 3 times longer than an ordinary saw.
That would make such light work of taking down some of the larger branches
Yes.
that have come down. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
That's going on my list as well.
And you can actually, it's got 2 opening positions, so if you just press down on that lever, it'll fold a little bit further. So you can actually, when you're reaching up to branches,
that's really
you
good.
can sort of do an undercut. I thought they would be a perfect thing for your moving logs around. These are timber tongs.
Oh, that would absolutely save my
These are Bahco, so they're not huge. So they will do logs up to something like 4 or 5 inches. So if you're skidding logs out, they'll be perfect. It's going to save you back.
Again, quite compact.
Yes, and they will fit on a belt sheath onto your belt, so you don't have to carry them around. You just get them on your belt and forget about them. This is from Peavy Manufacturing, either a Pickeroon or a Hookeroon.
I haven't used one of these before.
So, they're indestructible. You can chuck them around. It's a professional quality tool from the States, Peavy Manufacturing Co. So you just, this end here is just pointy. It is quite sharp, but you can just throw that into a log and it'll stick. Throw it into the grain, into the end grain or the side grain, it'll stick. And then you can just drag things out. So it's almost an alternative to the timber tongs.
It is quite a medieval tool, isn't it?
It is.
But it
primitive.
looks fun.
It does, yeah. And my last few tools is a tool very close to my heart. Is a few billhooks. So billhooks are a bit of a bone of contention at the moment because since Richard Maurice passed away from Maurice of Dunsford, the billhook makers, there's been a bit of a shortage of good quality billhooks. Is that billhook something you use?
It's something I've used in the past, but I don't own.
Yeah.
But there have been times where I've thought that's what I needed, especially when coppicing trees and taking off branches.
Yes, this is a Richard Morris. So these are just the benchmark for me. So whilst during the later years of production they were a little bit, the handles were a little bit loose, and they left a little bit to be desired. But the main thing is that the blades were forged, beautifully forged, so that kept a great edge. So that's the benchmark for me, but sadly no longer available.
And that looks well loved. And how easy are they to sharpen?
The bevels on them are, they're not flat, they're kind of gently convex. So they do keep a good edge, and they'll just, if they're properly sharpened with a canoe stone, preferably a coarse canoe stone and a fine one, they're very easy to sharpen.
I think sharpening tools is not one of my strong points.
Yeah.
So that's why it's wonderful to have shops like yours where we can come to and have them done professionally and have them done really well.
Yeah. New kid on the block. This is again from our friend Ray Iles. So he's made something very similar to the Maurice one. So this is looking like it's got a lot of potential. So this is a new venture for him. So we're hoping this is going to be a very popular tool, because there's not many out there.
That's nice. So it's got less of a curve on the top. Does that make much difference?
Well, it's not for general purpose, for harvesting hazel and willow. It's absolutely perfect. It doesn't need a great hook on the end. Just in case people are kind of wondering where they might have seen you before, have you? Did you appear on a certain TV program recently?
I did. I was a contributor on Britains Best Woodwooker on Channel 4. Which was an incredible experience, and it was something which really re-excited my passion for woodwork, because I got to learn a lot while I was on the show, and I also got to show off the style that I do, which is a lot different to a lot of the other contributors on the show, whereas I use a lot of natural form wood. So for the show I actually took along a lot of wood that I'd brought from this woodland myself.
Fantastic.
And it made it really special for me that I was able to use that rather than buying in wood. But it was really great that I was allowed to show my style of woodworking rather than being pushed in a direction of a certain type.
Yes.
So it was a great experience. I reached the semi-finals of the show, which I'm super proud of. Yeah, really proud of. And it's something I'll always remember.
Yes. Did you take your shave horse with you?
I didn't take my shave horse. I took my Drawknife with me, which I used on the show. Made a big difference. Despite all the tools that they had there, my Drawknife was absolutely my favourite to use. But they did have a shave horse brought in specially for me there, and I was the only one I think that really knew what it was.
Yes.
What it was for. But I introduced a few people to that, and they saw how useful that could be.
Yeah. Oh, you've been spreading the word then.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. For anybody who will listen, I will talk about woodwork as long as they will listen.
Well, it's been an absolute joy talking, Caroline, and sharing sort of your wood with us. And I'm feeling the joy now, sort of just being here, just relaxing and talking about green wood.
Well, any excuse to come here, I'm always happy to come and chat about wood and be here. So you're welcome anytime.
Oh, we might just take you up on that. Thanks very much.
Cheers.